Well, the place is hotting up a little bit now. It's being an all-London final. It's taken a little while for us to get the real atmosphere of a Wembley Cup final. And in fact, away up there amongst the Rangers supporters, there still seem to be a few gaps in the crowd, which suggests that maybe it's not yet a full house. Well, our Curry is a Vindaloo, Tony Curry of Queen's Park Rangers in the midfield. And he's pretty hot stuff, and Rangers will need him to be in excellent form this afternoon to counter the undoubted talents of Glenn Hoddle. But of course it would be so wrong just to try and polarize the whole afternoon into a battle between those two, because there are plenty of talented players on both sides. Well, grass or plastic, QPR fantastic. QPR, who play half their games, of course, on their artificial surface at Loftus Road, which really is the nearest league ground we have here at Wembley to here at Wembley, a matter of 3 or 4 miles away. Rangers enjoying their centenary and their first ever visit to an FA Cup final. They've won the League Cup in 1967 when, as a third division side, they beat West Bromwich Albion. Spurs have been here 6 times in an FA Cup final, and they've won it 6 times. Only Aston Villa, with 7 victories, have more. So way above, as the bandsmen play on, you get the overall scene, and what a marvellous picture it is. Well, they're unbeaten at Wembley because they've been here only once, as I said, in 1967. They've never been here for the Cup final. Well, these banners that we've seen over the years have become a traditional part of it now, Brian Clough, haven't they?
They're good, and they're original as well. And they bring a smile to everybody's face, and that's what I hope it's going to be, a smiling Cup final.
I think the game needs that maybe more than anything else at the moment.
Well, with the situation in other parts of the world and football in general, lower me, I hope we can turn it on this afternoon. I just want what we used to describe as a smashing game.
A smashing game between 2 London sides, the 4th all-London final in 15 years, in fact, and London clubs have won here the last 3 years: Arsenal, West Ham, and last year Spurs, of course. And at this time, if you were a manager down in the dressing room, Brian, as you've been so often on these Wembley occasions, what would Keith Birkinshaw and Terry Venables be doing now?
They'll just be having quiet words with individual players. There'll be certainly no ranting and raving and shouting about. They'll be apprehensive and nervous. It'll be going through their mind if they've done the right things and picked the right sides and left the certain players out and played the occasional player that they know is carrying a slight injury. But it'll be a case of calming down and just reassuring and refreshing certain people's minds as to what jobs they're supposed to be doing. When I saw Mick Shannon on a programme with you, Brian, I think it was last night, I think he thinks that the best teams in the world just go out and kick a ball around a piece of grass. He has no idea whatsoever, that young man, of planning how leagues are won, how cups are won, and how clubs are built.
Now the traditional Cup final hymn, Abide With Me. a sport which sadly shows its ugly face too often during the course of a season. United, and producing one of the game's most moving moments. Abide with me in the minutes leading up to a cup final. The battle to get here, intense for both clubs. Spurs by way of Arsenal, Leeds, Aston Villa, Chelsea and Leicester. Queen's Park Rangers by way of Middlesbrough, Blackpool, Grimsby, Palace and West Bromwich Albion. And now for them, the great day has arrived, and the match, as you can see with the players coming up the tunnel, will soon be underway. The nerves, the doubts, the fears, the little niggling worries will soon be over, and they soon will be doing the job that they do best. The two managers, Terry Venables there on the left, and Keith Birkinshire, poles apart in terms of their personality. Terry, a right extrovert, Keith, a very private man. And here they come out into this enormous volume of noise. And to the delight of their fans, Queen's Park Rangers wearing specially prepared tracksuit tops in the fashion of their shirts, blue and white hoops. They won't be wearing blue and white hoops today, they're wearing red instead, with Spurs wearing an all-yellow strip. But that's a nice touch by Rangers, and psychologically maybe a very important one as well. There's young Peter Hucker just going through, the goalkeeper who's played only 28 first-team games alongside Ray Clements, who's played here more times than that, 36 in fact. Spurs, who a couple of months ago looked as though they might win as many as 4 trophies, one by one they've gone away. The League Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup, and now they're left with this, the FA Cup. And down in the tunnel you can see Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. The teams will be presented to her. Of course, an international sportswoman in her own right. And behind her, Captain Mark Phillips, also an international sportsman in his own right. And on the right, as we look, Bert Millerchip, chairman of the Football Association, coming out with Her Royal Highness. And the national anthem. First of all, to meet the players of Queen's Park Rangers, with Glenn Roeder, their captain, doing the introductions. Having a word with John Gregory there, Simon Stainrod alongside. I've not seen Peter Hucker, the young goalkeeper, stop smiling since he came out of the tunnel, which says a lot for him, playing in his first Wembley. He said, I'm going to go there and I'm going to enjoy myself. Mike Flanagan. And Terry Fenwick, who's brought a coachload of his family down from Sunderland. Gary Waddock, who's got such an important job to do in the middle of the field. Clive Allen, 21 on Thursday. Big Bob Hazel, the big defender who had such a marvellous semi-final against Cyril Regis. And alongside him is again a man who could play a critical part in the midfield, Tony Curry. Clive Allen's been presented there in the red sweater and the dark glasses. Les Allen, his father, who won a Cup Winners' Medal for Spurs in 1961 and won for Rangers here in the League Cup final of 1967. What divided loyalties there. And Ian Gillard playing his last game before he gets a free transfer, and a word with the Rangers manager Terry Venables, who himself in fact won a winners' medal for Spurs in 1967 here. And now it's the turn of Tottenham with their captain Steve Perryman, past fit only this morning. Princess Anne, I know, fascinated by the work of international class sportsmen, whatever their sport. Although not a particularly devoted football fan, as opposed to her husband, Captain Mark Phillips, who is a lifelong Tottenham fan and ranks Jimmy Greaves and Bobby Smith, Danny Blanchflower and Dave Mackay as his schoolboy heroes. Captain Phillips there now meeting the team. He'll have his fingers crossed for them. Spurs, of course, without Ricky Villa. Sadly, Keith Birkinshaw felt that it wouldn't be right to play him with the situation as it is in the Falkland Islands at the moment. But in football terms, there was better news for him when Steve Perryman and Tony Galvin were both past fit. And there is Keith Birkinshaw having a word with Her Royal Highness. One of the straightest and most honest men you could ever wish to meet. And the referee behind him there, Clive White, 41 years old. There he is, manager of an off-licence, comes from Harrow, introducing his linesmen, Mr. Hamill from Birmingham and Mr. Mitchell from Somerset. Well, Her Royal Highness seems thoroughly at home and enjoying the whole atmosphere. Mr. Bert Millichip. And now they go back to the royal box to get just about the best seat in the place. And as soon as Her Royal Highness is gone, the teams will peel away. And then it'll be time to get down to business. Well, in fact, they change over to kick in at the end where their supporters are. Here are Rangers. They really are snazzy tracksuit tops they've got. So Queen's Park Rangers with Peter Hucker in goal, number 2 Terry Fenwick, 3 Ian Gillard, 4 Gary Waddock, 5 Bob Hazel, 6 Glenn Roeder the captain, 7 Tony Curry, 8 Mike Flanagan, 9 Clive Allen, 10 Simon Stainrod, who incidentally way back in Sheffield United days used to clean Tony Curry's boots. That's the way life changes. And 11 John Gregory, with the substitute, a man who played in the semi-final, and he won't let them down if he has to come on, Gary Micklewhite, with the manager Terry Venables. And at the other end, Spurs, without Ricky Villa, as I said, but with Ray Clements in goal, now past fit. Number 2, Chris Hughton. 3, Paul Miller. 4, Paul Price. Those two will be central defenders. 5, Mike Hazard, who's come in and done such a good job since the departure of Osvaldo Ardiles. 6, Steve Perryman. 7, Graham Roberts, who will now play in the midfield. 8, Steve Archibald. 9, Tony Galvin. We shall see some good work from him down the left-hand flank. 10, Glenn Hoddle. 11, Garth Brooks, and the substitute Gary Brook, who's had a good last month or so. He scored 4 times in the last 6 games. So the referee also decked out in new tracksuit and says he will toss up with a 2p piece. Started refereeing in 1962, so he celebrates 20 years of being a man in the middle. And Queen's Park Rangers, as we can see, in the red shirts, the same strip that they wore in the semi-final. So Glenn Roeder up there, and Steve Perryman too. The two captains. And at the moment, Brian, it doesn't seem quite as tense as I've known some cup finals in the moments leading up to it.
Well, it's like one big happy family among the crowd. As I've said early on, you know, it's an all-London final, so there's not the intense rivalry, but I think it'll build up when the game gets going. I was interested when everybody was getting presented to the dignitaries to look at the faces, because you can see a lot of strain on people's faces on occasions, but the QPR lads didn't appear to have any strain whatsoever. I've watched in the last few minutes literally waving to people in the crowd, relatives and all that type of thing. And it argues well for the game, because if you can play a cup final without tension and without strain, irrespective of your ability, you've got a good start there. And it might be ability and tired legs in the Tottenham sense to a lot of, you know, uninhibited running and just, I'm glad to be here.
Well, he's certainly glad to be here, Clive Allen. He had one or two problems with transfers to Arsenal, to Crystal Palace. Things seemed to go wrong, and now they've come right. So the 1982 FA Cup final is almost set to go, with Queen's Park Rangers attacking the goal. To our left, red shirts, black shorts, black stockings, and Spurs in an all-yellow strip. Can the underdogs, the second division side, do it again, as Sunderland, Southampton and West Ham have done in the last 10 years? Soon we shall know. As Clive White gets them underway, Gary Waddock playing it back to Bob Hazel, and the first touch of the ball in the first seconds of the game to young Peter Hucker. Only 28 senior games. He's only been a first-team player for 5 months. Big lad, 6'4" of him, and it seems a very happy disposition as well. Flanagan, Stainrod, and a long cross towards Clive Allen. Still got that left wrist in a light plaster, and a corner straight away for Queen's Park Rangers. Curry will take it. Bob Hazel up from the back, leaving only Ian Gillard and Glenn Roeder back. Curry with the corner, and needing a slightly longer run-up than the advertising board would allow. But Curry with the corner, they're all getting in there. Nobody got a touch, and Flanagan couldn't get there to turn it back again, and a goal kick for Tottenham. Mike Flanagan, who in fact was a junior at Tottenham and then went to Charlton. Galvin making the first of his runs down the left, stopped on that occasion in no uncertain terms by the challenge of Terry Fenwick. Clive Allen limping a little bit, I noticed. He got a knock maybe there when he challenged for the ball that went finally for a corner. Here's Ian Gillard. What a great servant he's been. About 500 games for Queen's Park Rangers. Stainrod jumping for that without a real chance of getting it, but here's Waddock with it. And the challenge was too fierce there. And it's going to be a free kick. Hitting again there. And Clements, just as Allen was coming in. And here's Galvin off once more for Tottenham. Curry going across. Here's Fenwick. And a goal kick. So Tony Galvin, who had a bit of a thigh strain for the last 2 or 3 days that was worrying, has been able to stretch himself down that left flank in the opening 3 minutes of the game. Hoddle's header. Hazel. Ball lodged for the moment behind a little battery of photographers. Tony Curry with Queen's Park Rangers throw. Stainrod's right there. Now here's Flanagan. Spurs at the moment in defence looking as though they need to organise themselves a little bit, Brian.
Well, they will do eventually. I think it was predictable that QPR were going to start off with a wee bit of flourish and a wee bit of enthusiasm. I was interested in the first corner of the match where the QPR lads stood outside the box. It was incredible sight.
This will be Ian Gillard's ball. Touch there for Flanagan. And now for Roda. Again, that long ball, seeking out Stainrod, but never turning it sideways. Perriman keeping it in play. Paul Price. Miller. Gillard getting there before Archibald, but Hazard losing out there. Waddock in no uncertain terms again. Flanagan. Well, that'll ricochet nicely to Roberts. Powerful man and difficult to stop. Fennick in the end turning it back to Hucker. Roda. And now Curry coming from deep. And in danger of losing out. Perhaps a little fortunate to get the free kick, but he got it. And there's a typical Curry pass. Direct, some 35 yards, straight to Gillard, but he won't reach Clive Allen with it. Hoddle, Waddock was really attacking in, but Hoddle got the better of it and slung that superb pass to Crooks, and now on for Hazard, on for Crooks again, all stemming from a lovely ball by Hoddle in the first place, and good work by Garth Crooks as well. Crooks doing some good work there, and then not quite getting the rebound. First real glimpse of Hoddle, Brian.
It was incredible ball he played. Played it first time in his own half, and it went like a bullet. And Crooks actually didn't have to move. If he hadn't got his chest there, it knocked his head off.
So Stainrod with Queen's Park Rangers throw, hoisting a long one into that Spurs area. Hazel was right in there. Hoddle with a backward header to Waddock. Goal kick. Republic of Ireland international, Gary Waddock. Miller doing a Hoddle and finding Crooks. Got Galvin outside him, he's got Hazard up alongside him. Galvin in a lot of space down the left, but Crooks going all the way. Touched away well by Hucker, corner to Tottenham. And the Queen's Park Rangers may well have expected, or half expected at any rate, the pass out to the left, but Crooks decided on the shot, and Hucker was equal to it. So Hoddle with Tottenham's corner. Price going in there, Roberts is going in there as well, and it's Roberts with the header. Gillard with a chance to nudge it away for a moment's respite. Hazard. Hoddle. A nice reverse ball there for Archibald. Hazard. Chip in once more there, but try as Galvin might, he couldn't get to it. Hoddle once more. Played for Paul Price. Graham Roberts. Good little spell of pressure this by Tottenham, and a good ball by Roberts finding Galvin, who's now on this right flank. Played inside again for Hoddle, but he tried to jink past Gregory and get himself a shot in. Hazard playing it in towards Archibald, and it's away for the goal kick. When you think of the troubles that Spurs have had with no Ricky Villa and 1 or 2 injury problems, you tend to overlook the class and the talent that remains, and that was a very good little attacking spell by Tottenham. But now here's Clive Allen.
They kept possession lovely, Brian, and it's a sign actually of a good side with talent, obviously, if you can keep possession of the ball in a Wembley Cup final. The team that has most of the ball invariably wins.
Well, it's Spurs with the ball at the moment in the shape of Paul Miller. Again playing the long ball here for Archibald. Perryman trying to get in, a good life or death tackle there by Gillard, and it didn't quite work for him. And Curry again trying hard, but again the bounce goes Tottenham's way. Archibald with a shot, it's wide of the goal, but they're raining those shots in on Hucker's goal. And QPR get another goal kick.
They were fair efforts as well, Brian, both shots, but I would like them just, to get in just 5 or 6, 7, 8 yards more. We normally like to see the whites of the eyes, at least, of goalkeepers, irrespective of how inexperienced they are. Crooks took him by surprise. It was a good effort with that one, and it was going in the top corner.
Stainrod leaping, but not connecting. Flanagan pulling it down well. Now there's a good ball, finding Gillard and a bit of space for Rangers to come forward. Curry, 10 minutes gone, no score. Waddock. It's a good little bit of build-up here again by QPR as Stainrod tries to make something of it. Perryman's throw. For Tottenham. The favourites, Queen's Park Rangers, offered at something like 3-1 by the bookmakers today. Gillard. Hoddle. And Roberts playing it there to Price. Hoddle getting it nicely from Archibald. Crooks trying to play it again for Hoddle. That should be Hazel's ball, but he lets it go through to Hucker. Whoops. Gregory there. Schroeder. Oh, what a nice dummy. Completely fooled Hazard there, but the ball not quite getting through to Flanagan before he was assaulted by Miller. And a free kick to QPR. Curry. Allen flicking it on towards Flanagan. Gregory's in there. Flanagan ducked underneath that one. Maybe there was a call that he thought was from a teammate. Perryman. Roda, a bit off balance, but got enough of a header in to find Hazel. Tony Curry. John Gregory to Clive Allen. Hazel. Finding Gillard. Hazel again. Gillard's gone ahead of him. Hazel needs no invitation. And another free kick to QPR, this time for the foul on Mike Flanagan.
Good decision by the ref, Brian. He let the first free kick go, you know, to play the offside, to play the advantage role. It was a good decision because there was 2 fouls.
He's a good referee, Clive White. England's only representative in the coming World Cup. Well, Terry Venables promised 1 or 2 surprises up his sleeve, and he is usually a bit cunning when it comes to free kicks. I wonder if we're going to see something now. It's Curry on the ball, it's Flanagan with the shots, but it's Clements with the save. And we hear from Scotland that Rangers have taken the lead from Aberdeen up at Hampden Park by a goal to 0. Roda holding off Crooks. Tottenham's throw. Archibald. Galvin scooping it wide here for Roberts. Letting fly. Oh, that must have moved a little bit in the air, but Hucker stood up big and strong and collected. Flanagan. Waddock. An interesting ball played into Gregory, and he allowed it to go through, hoping that Curry would pick it up, but instead of that it's Galvin on the run and allowed to go a long way, and then brought down by Hazel. That's going to be a free kick and a wigging for the Rangers number 5. Is it going to be a booking also? No. Clive White for a moment felt into his back pocket, and it was a warning and no more. But certainly Spurs were really on their way, and they have a free kick here from a position not dissimilar to the one we saw just now that Queen's Park Rangers had, and Hazel is injured, and the Spurs fans are making their feelings felt. Rangers came to this game in a good little bout of form. They'd won 5 of their last 7. As opposed to Spurs coming here having lost their last 3 and lacking a little bit of momentum, but certainly in the opening quarter of an hour, Spurs have looked full of confidence. So there's the Rangers wall lined up. And on the far side, Gary Micklewhite, the Rangers substitute, just doing a little bit of warming up, just in case he has to come on in place of Bob Hazel. Micklewhite, who's a midfielder, and they certainly wouldn't want to lose Bob Hazel, big, strong, dominating factor in their central defence at this stage of a cup final. But he looks okay to go on, but they must now beware Glenn Hoddle. There's Hoddle, and it's wide. So the wall was perfectly formed. Even the bending ability of Glenn Hoddle couldn't find the angle. So it's Hucker with the free kick. And you can see just how wide it was. Waddock. And Waddock again. Miller. Stainwell beaten by the persistence of Perriman there. Perriman now finds Steve Archibald. Can he get the ball across? Not first time, but it's now with Mickey Hazard. Hit first time, straight at Tony Curry. Roda in a slightly difficult position, facing his own goal. Not as far as Archibald. And a good swift challenge by Stainrod. gives Rangers the chance again just to organise themselves a little bit. Perryman with the throw. Crooks. And a free kick given as Crooks tried to get between Waddock and Gillard, and referee Clive White has given Spurs the free kick, a sandwich. Gillard wasn't at all happy with that decision. But here's Hoddle. It's a curling free kick in there. Went as far as Miller, but didn't quite get the touch he wanted. Waddock just screwing it away. Perryman picking it up. Spurs dominating this phase of the game, and they now find Archibald with a good ball. There's the cross going in. A difficult one, and the keeper was put under pressure and put it away for the corner. The ball bouncing back off the roof of the net, and whether Spurs felt that it hadn't gone out of play or not, I don't know, but the whistle clearly had gone. The corner clearly had been given. Hazard, bit of space for him. Hits a good ball. Needed to be turned away and was turned away well. Roberts turning it back in once more. And Archibald got the little flick in. Hucker got it away. All academic because the whistle had gone. But certainly Peter Hucker with plenty to do. And it was a great shot by Hazard. Hit it really well and just parried there by the young keeper. Certainly had plenty to do so far, Peter Hucker, Brian.
He's doing remarkably well, but I'm sorry I harp on about it. They're giving him plenty of time to see the ball, and they're weaning him into the game, actually. And there have been some excellent shots, and he's dealt with them well. Not so much the last one, because he poked it up in the air, but he certainly had a touch of the ball, and his confidence must be now 200% more than when he walked through the tunnel at 3 o'clock. I don't know how long he can keep it up. I would like the Tottenham forwards just to get a wee bit closer.
Hazel beating Crooks in the air. Curry, Waddock taking it around Hoddle this time. Tony Curry. Gregory. Gillard. No, out of play. Just in play. Rangers almost entirely concentrated in their own half now. In fact, every one of their players right back there being forced back more and more by Tottenham. This time it's Archibald squirming his way through. And penalised on the way to give Spurs another free kick. Once more, Paul Miller and Graham Roberts are coming forward into that Rangers penalty area. They are the two big men who might well be the target for this free kick from Glenn Hoddle. Curled there, a little too close maybe to the keeper, although in the end it was Hazel, and the ball must have gone over the byline before the Rangers number 5 made contact. It's a goal kick.
I think it's interesting, Brian, despite the fact the young ginger lad is standing next to Hoddle at the moment, he's not doing a man-for-man marking job at all, you know. I think he's allowing Hoddle to play his game, and he's playing his game in the part of the field also.
Jump by Stainrod. Houghton has had little to do so far. Gregory. Oh, that's going to fall straight to Perryman. Spurs absolutely dominating it at the moment. Hazard. And Waddock playing it back once more to Hucker. Rhoda. Whether you believe in coincidence or not, QPR stayed in the same hotel down near Croydon as Sunderland did in '73 and Southampton in '76 when they both came here as second division sides and won. At the moment, QPR looking anything but a good bet. But they're still 0-0. There's still a long way to go, but they are being pushed back more and more by a Spurs side that seems to be growing in confidence. But at the moment, it's Curry on the break. Clive Allen after it, and Clements needing a little bit of unorthodox goalkeeping to get it away. But here's Archibald. Can he keep it in play? Gillard's going with him. It's Tottenham's throw. Perryman will take it. Perryman. Hollow. Played in for Hazard. Oh, nice control by Hazard, and all credit to Curry. He stuck with him so well and prevented the cross coming in. And Hazel is down and injured again. You can see him there in that Queen's Park Rangers penalty area. Well, I don't know whether he was injured just then. He was certainly injured a few moments ago, as you remember. Now, whether he's got a real problem, I don't know. But if he has, that could be a real problem for QPR. So, Terry Venables in the centre of your picture there, the Rangers manager, who's got a marvellous tactical brain. And on the right of the picture now, Keith Birkinshaw, whose success over the last couple of 3 seasons for Spurs has been phenomenal, and he'll be delighted, I'm sure, as the Spurs fans will, that he's now signed a new 3-year contract with the club. Well, whatever it was, seems to have been put right. Minutes of the first half remaining. Stainrod for Queen's Park Rangers. Hazard. Hoddle. Hazard and Hoddle at the moment having more to say for themselves in the midfield areas than Tony Curry. But Curry there finding Hazel, being challenged by Hazard, who's come up from the midfield areas. That's the ball that finds Stainrod. And now here's Waddock. Finding Gillard. Little touch again for Gary Waddock. And Fennick on the far side. Stainrod. Challenged and beaten by Roberts. Big, strong man and hard to deny. Here's Crooks. Good goal-scoring record with the cup this season. Archibald. Space here for the skipper, Steve Perryman. Really attacking Gillard there, and Gillard holding his ground and timing his challenge well. Here's Gregory just slipping it there to the Rangers number 3. Clive Allen beaten by the challenge from Paul Price. Gregory, Flanagan, free kick. Well, it's a pretty unorthodox free kick, but the referee's attitude, I think, was right. Keep it moving whenever he can, and I think that is the philosophy of the referee, and if it is, it's all the better for this cup final. Hoddle. Archibald. Pursued by Roda, and Roda has the better of it. Curry. Looking up, see what's on. It's the simple pass this time to Gregory. Stainrod letting it go. Oh, and it was a little too clever. And Hoddle in turn can put Archibald through. Hazel started to come and then went, and Crooks is right through. And Hazel got across quickly and efficiently and snuffed it out. And he made the ground really quickly there, Big Bob Hazel, when it certainly looked as though Crooks was in a fine goal-scoring position.
He did it twice, actually, Brian, because he just delayed going to the man with the ball, first of all, and give himself time to get back and get that tackle in. A good centre-half, his job there, because that was nearly a half a chance.
Rangers, of course, with another centre-half, Steve Wicks, sitting on the bench, ineligible for this game. So there's real competition for those back four places at Loftus Road at the moment, but Hazel did a marvellous job there. Here's Crooks again. Galvin. Ooh, the referee got half in the way of Hoddle then. Curry lifting it clear. Oh, good work by Steinrod. And now Allen. Cut out by Perriman. It's opening up a little bit. It's still 0-0 with 28 minutes gone. Curry, bit of space now to consider something. And he's picked up Gregory on the far side. The header coming in, and Steinrod hitting it first time, which may not have been the best thing for QPR. Just behind him was Clive Allen. Perriman for Spurs. Paul Miller. Rhoda, nicely guided header, accurately there for Gillard. Again, using Steinrod very much as a target man up there, and Flanagan and Allen just holding a little bit off him. Steinrod letting it go through, and it's 2 or 3 times they've tried that little dummy, and it was within an ace of working then. Steinrod's little dummy, and Allen and Flanagan just behind, hoping to capitalise on it.
If Allen hadn't have been standing stationary then, that could have been dangerous, but the young man wasn't with it.
Well, here he is again, but he didn't make a contact there. And he didn't stop Miller there, but Curry has. Miller threw a little hard and is being called to the referee for the challenge there on Tony Curry. So Curry with Rangers free kick. Trying to pick out Flanagan on this side. Flanagan getting his header in well. Here's John Gregory. Handball by him as he tried to control it. So coming up, as you can see there, 30 minutes gone. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Miller. Again towards Crooks as the sun comes out, and Rhoda gets it away for Rangers. And Waddock challenges again, but Price getting a nice ball here for Perriman. Played inside again for Hoddle, beginning to attack them now. But in the end, Gillard and Waddock between them get it away as Flanagan. Curry. What a good deep ball there. Fenwick on the far side. And Hazel has come up from the back. The big number 5 has gone on the overlap. Here's Clive Allen. But Price getting it back calmly and comfortably to his goalkeeper. With a great break there by Hazel. And up in Scotland, it's now Rangers 1, Aberdeen 1. Perriman with the throw as the fans find their voices. Hoddle. Perriman. Miller. Oh, it's over Rhoda's head. Oh, and Archibald suddenly found there was a chance there, but couldn't finish it off. It was always one of those tantalising crosses, and Glenn Rhoda backing away and didn't quite get to it. The bounce suddenly went Archibald's way.
was an half ball, Brian. He should have come and cleared it. It was a bad ball for Roda to try and attempt. It was swirling down and it was over his head. It could have cost QPR a goal, that.
Good refereeing decision, a shove in the back by Miller on Stainrod, and he was at the perfect angle to see it. Gillard picking his way past a couple of them. It's Flanagan. Archibald for Brooks. Hazard outside him. 4 Spurs are forward, and Rangers are in trouble getting back, but the flag is up for offside against Archibald. Good decision by the linesman on the far side. Little doubt about it, in spite of the protests of Spurs Scottish number 8, Steve Archibald.
It's a golden rule, Brian, that when you've got a 3-on-2 situation, you hand it then, you play the ball, you don't run with it. Young Crooks could have played that ball 20 or 30 yards before he did, and Archibald then would have gone clear.
Roda playing a long ball forward. Paul Price. There's John Gregory. Clive Allen trying to get on the turn, and then stumbling and handling the ball as he fell. And Spurs can bring it away again through Tony Galvin, showing no signs of the injury that a couple of days ago looked as though it might keep him out of this game. Curry. That will fall very conveniently for Spurs. Being forced back by Waddock. Price. Hazard. And again it's Hazard. Perriman. Oh, misread that a little bit, and Roda is able to break away now. Convincingly here for Queen's Park Rangers. He's got Flanagan alongside him. It just wants the little ball, and oh, and he missed a glorious opportunity of putting Flanagan away, but Flanagan in the end turns it in, and Clements gathers quite successfully. A great run by Roda, but what a terrible finish, Brian.
It was a tremendous run, once again. If it had just laid it and then continued his run, it'd have gone clear.
Houghton, Hoddle. Now Roberts. Last time he played in midfield, he got a hat-trick. That was against Southampton. But his shooting was a little better than that. Well, it was certainly a bold, brave breakout there by the Rangers captain Glenn Willock, who's still annoyed with himself because he knows that a more sensible last pass to Flanagan could well have put him in. Hazard, who's really looking a dangerous customer in the midfield, quite as much as Hoddle is at the moment for Spurs. And there's a good shot and a good save. Curry. Allen. Gillard. Gregory. Flanagan. Gillard. Hoddle will nick that off him. Well, there's a ball again. Straight to Crooks. Nodded in nicely for Roberts. Hit in first time in the hope that Archibald's going to be there. And in the end, it was Waddock who just turned it back. It's Curry again. That's a better ball. Finds Stainrod, and off he goes. Got Allen and Flanagan up, but they just will not release that ball when it matters most. About 8 minutes of the first half remaining. Still Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Miller. Crooks, nice touch inside again for that dangerous man Hazard. A little dummy. He changed his mind about 3 times and in the end got it wrong. But he's looked quite a player so far, Mike Hazard.
He's playing quite well, actually. He scored a magnificent goal against us early in the season when he'd just come into the side. But what Tottenham are doing at the moment, Brian, they're showing just slight strains of a bit of frustration creeping in. He could have led that ball 2 or 3 times, and I would think they'd be better off playing it first time and getting in the box.
Hazard again. Curry beating Roberts. Price. One for Tony Curry again. It's too close to Houghton. And Curry is down for the moment. But he's up. Well, nothing like a ball at your feet to make you suddenly feel better. Tony Curry once more. Flicked on again towards Allen by Gregory. Here's Flanagan. Oh, what a good ball by Flanagan. Fenwick playing it in. And now Galvin. Brooks versus Hazel. Hollow. And they tried to get Galvin down that left to no avail. Perryman, Hazard, Cobble, and Rhoda comfortably away. Waddock. Gregory. Gillard. Stainrod's after this. Miller heading it away only as far as Clive Allen. Flanagan, and now Stainrod, onside, no flag there. The little chip by him, and nobody across there to finish it off. Flanagan turning it back, knowing that Gillard will be around, which he is. Flanagan. Waddock. There really looked to be a chance opening up there for Rangers, and maybe it's not gone yet. Fenwick, Gillard. Clements.
Jim Stainrod crossed the ball there. I think he was more obsessed with the chip than finding a colleague, actually. He didn't play for the team, the young man. He could have tried to squeeze one through to young Allen on the floor. He was obsessed with the chip, and he must have known there was not many QPR players up there.
Gillard. And now Paul Miller. It's going to be a Rangers throw. Simon Stainrod. Foul by Roberts on Waddock, free kick to Rangers. Stainrod. I thought for a moment he was getting in behind Perryman, but he ran out of pitch. Certainly had a prolific season, Stainrod, 25 goals to his credit. But then so is this man, Steve Perryman, culminating with Footballer of the Year and now captaining a side again in the cup final. Fenwick paused for a moment there, but in the end got his challenge in. But Spurs get the throw. Roberts, challenged by Curry. Houghton keeping that in again for Curry. Oh, that wasn't a good ball by Tony Curry. Hoddle taking advantage of it, and in the end, Curry, knowing that he'd made a terrible mistake, managed to get back there and nod it back to his keeper. Here he is again. Now that's more of a Tony Curry ball. We really, in truth, haven't seen so many of them. That sort of ball has come from Glenn Hoddle so far this afternoon. Galvin to Hoddle. But Hoddle dispossessed there, and here's Curry again, but he played it straight at Roberts. Rhoda. Galvin. Finnick holding off him for a moment. Rangers with a lot back, but here's Crooks inside the area. Played back again for Hobble. Goal kick.
QPR are doing well. They're making Tottenham shoot 5, 6, 7, 10 yards outside the box, and they can be very well pleased with this half, despite the fact that they've been on the receiving end. They are showing signs that they can go forward, and when it's non in any match, never mind a cup tie, you know you're in with a hell of a shout.
And you think it's looked not too unreasonable so far for Queen's Park Rangers then?
Well, I think they've defended quite well, and I think they've made Tottenham shoot from 5, 10 yards. The goalkeeper's done remarkably well, but never really been under any pressure. And I think Roder's having an excellent game in the heart of the defence. In fact, he's their best player, if not the best player on the pitch at the moment.
Glenn Roder. Well, there's Roder going in again, getting his header in, looking for Clive Allen, having a tussle and an unfair one there with Houghton, which gives Spurs the free kick. They've taken it. They might take advantage of a little bit of space here as Houghton, the fullback, comes in. But again, as Brian saying, they're forcing them to shoot from outside the box. In the last minute of the first half now, Peter Hucker, 22 years old, with the goal kick for Rangers. Curry. Galvin. That's Price. Hazel. And now Hazard. Paul Price hanging all over Simon Stainrod, gives QPR a free kick in the last seconds of the first half. Maybe a little too distant for them to strike all that effectively from here, but you never know. Curry is behind it. Hazel has come up as well, all adding a certain menace there for Ray Clements. And there's Fennick come on this side as well. Hazel's right in there too, and must have been an infringement on the keeper there. Into time added on for stoppages at the end of the first half now. Roder. Well, as Brian Clough said, the best man on the field, Glenn Roder, got the last touch as he goes off. So far, so good for Queen's Park Rangers. They've defended well. They've shown occasionally they can come forward positively, and well, it's by no means an easy ride for Tottenham. A lot of work, I would have thought, for both managers to do in that dressing room at half-time. And the half-time score then here in this 1982 FA Cup final at Wembley. It's Queen's Park Rangers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And as they go off for a 10-minute break or so, so shall we now, with a quick break. It's goalless here at Wembley as the teams come out for the start of the second half. I think it was Jack Charlton saying at half-time, Brian, that if he were Terry Venables, he would say, fine, I'm delighted the way it's gone. Let's have some more of that in the second half. Would that be your attitude?
Exactly. When I saw the Tottenham lads walking out, there's a lot of tied legs there, you know, Brian. A lot of tension. They've had a lot of kicks on those legs this season, and they've run a lot of miles, and they've played a lot of matches. And they would have right to have gone in at half-time with a cushion of a goal, or even possibly two. They know now that they've got it all to do. And if they don't, you know, get on top in the next 10, 15 minutes, also in the back of the minds will be, these lads are capable of breaking away and getting a goal. There's young Waddock waving to everybody again. It's incredible how he's approached the game. But they're full of it.
It's the greatest day of their lives, isn't it? And Steve Perryman and his team, I would think, as you rightly say, must know that it's by no means an easy job today.
Steve was very quiet at our place a week or two ago. I thought he was carrying an injury then. I watched Ray Clemens walk off at half-time. He's certainly carrying one. He can hardly jog if you have a look at him now. And he's not relishing 45 minutes with having very little to do and then having to stop possibly the crucial goal.
So that's how we stand then, 0-0. Clive White waiting for the last fansman to leave the arena. He's had a good first half himself as well.
He looks more, Brian, if you'll excuse me, he looks more like a Spaniard. I'm glad he's going to the World Cup because he looks like a foreigner. But he's our top referee in this country at the moment, and I'm glad he's got the top match.
Well, let's see now how things go. Certainly Queen's Park Rangers will not want a replay. It will upset an awful lot of plans because they are due to fly to Tampa in Florida on Monday. So it's Spurs then who'll get us away at the start of the second half. Remember, they're in the all-light strip of yellow. I think, in fact, Clive White was just looking up at the Royal Box to make sure that Her Royal Highness Princess Anne was seated. Well, now we are away. 0-0. Rangers in their first FA Cup final. Fenwick getting it away. Clive Allen with a little touch for Curry, a little bit more forward than at any time in the first half, in point of fact, and finds an offside Simon Stainrod. Princess Anne sitting on the left as we look is the Queen's Park Rangers chairman, Jim Gregory, who normally likes to leave a game 10 minutes from the end if it gets a bit tense, but I think Jim won't be allowed to do that today. It's Curry. And now it's Roda, who had an exceptional first half, the Rangers captain. Gillard playing it in once again. An offside decision this time against Mike Flanagan. The sun out brilliantly now. There is just a little breeze there, but there'll be fairly grueling conditions as the afternoon wears on. Paul Miller playing it forward now for Tottenham, but straight to Tony Curry. Some 10 times here for England at Wembley. Here he is again. Volley down by Flanagan that time for Gregory. And Gillard galloping into a bit of space down the left for Queen's Park Rangers. The cross towards Stainrod, and he didn't quite get the header he wanted in, but I'm surprised he was allowed one at all there by Houghton and Galvin. But here's Galvin coming away now for Tottenham. Long, long run for deep, and look who it is right back there with a lovely tackle on him, Tony Curry. He did well there.
He did remarkably well. He acknowledged the cheers, because you don't see him doing that very often. If he'd have been doing it 5 years ago, he'd have had more than 17 caps.
Waddock. And onside, Clive Allen this time, but Paul Miller's there. They're sticking out the foot. Roberts now finding Hoddle, looking to set something up for Garth Brooks. But Hazel's gone with him. And he's a really ferocious competitor, Bob Hazel. On that occasion, getting on the wrong side of the law, conceding a free kick. But he and Roda are going to take some beating down this afternoon. But a free kick now, which Hoddle will take. And the big men are up once more from the back. Price is there, Miller's there, Roberts is a little deeper this time. Price making a little dash towards the near post, and now he's come back. It's Miller making the dash in there this time. Tony Curry. Clive Allen. It's Perryman for Tottenham. Oh, he's getting past Waddett now. Crooks playing it in for Hazard. Now Hoddle taking it on, and it almost got through to Archibald, but the whistle went. Now what's this? A free kick to Spurs in what could be potentially a very dangerous position. 6 or 7, maybe 8 yards outside the Rangers penalty area, slightly right of centre. Enter Glenn Hoddle again, I would imagine. Well, there are 2, 4, 6 in the Rangers wall. And Hoddle is the man to watch. A curler, but again, the measurements weren't quite right.
Just while we've got a second, Brian, I think Terry Venables he's up on his feet there and he's looking so often. I think he's going to get young Clive Allen off. He hasn't had a kick since the match started.
Well, I don't know whether you remember, he took a knock, didn't he, Brian? We saw him limping in about the first minute of the game. Whether he's been hiding an injury since then, I don't know. But they are certainly getting Gary Micklewhite ready.
Well, he's been ineffective since that first knock, if he got a knock. And he's challenging for the ball in a cup tie. They've left a lot to be desired. I would say the lad's going off.
Yes, they look as though they got number 9 ready, and well, what a sad week it's turned out to be. He was celebrating his 21st birthday on Thursday. He's got all his family here, including his dad, who played for Spurs in a cup final and won. And it's just a matter of time now before he goes off. He knows it now. Here's Rhoda. Now what's Tony Curry doing? The old Matador bit again, and wanting a little more assistance, I think, from Glenn Rhoda than he was getting. The Rangers still can't make this substitution. Warwick played again for Rhoda. Back again to Peter Hacker.
Where does young Micklewhite play, Brian?
He's a midfielder.
But he'll go centre forward.
It's Hubble. And a free kick. And now Clive Allen will go off. And they'll bring on the substitutes, Gary Micklewhite. So poor old Clive Allen, it's always sad to see that. And nobody will be sorrier than his dad in the dark glasses there. But he did seem to take a knock in the first minute of the game. And whether that's hampered him all the way through, I don't know. But Gary Micklewhite is on, 21-year-old. And he had a little spell with Manchester United, in point of fact. Tommy Docherty brought him down to Queen's Park Rangers. Played in the semi-final. And Clive Allen feeling a bit dejected about it all. But that was a good little break there, suddenly appearing for Queen's Park Rangers. But now Spurs getting it away. Houghton, Curry, and another free kick to Spurs. And poor old Clive Allen is in a bad way. Looks like he's having a little quiet tear on the bench there. As indeed, if you remember, his cousin Paul Allen did after he'd received his winner's medal here in 1980 for West Ham. Well, here's Galvin on the left flank now, and oh dear. Well, poor Clive Allen. There are times like this when your heart goes out to youngsters, and it really is a tough old game. He's been building himself up, building himself up, building himself up for this, and now look at that.
Brian will be more worried about his dad in the stand than himself.
That's probably true. Houghton. Perryman. And now Hazard. That's not a bad ball there, but Hazel just about cut it out as Archibald seemed to be on his way. There's Curry's head away. And now Roda's. Now Steinroth. He's got Micklewhite up as well. Stopped right at the end by a good, firm Tottenham challenge. And Archibald takes it up at the other end. Hazard. All balance and cheek. And a useful little left foot there, and a touch by Hoddle that didn't quite come off. Warnock. Miller backing away, but didn't get to it. Micklewhite. Flanagan. Micklewhite again. Ooh, that's an interesting ball there for Gregory, but he meant to aim it in towards Steinroth, and the final header was off the mark. It wasn't a very good throw out either from Ray Clements, and Galvin was a little lucky to get away with it, but here he goes. Well, he deserved the free kick there. The challenge by Waddock was unfair.
Best move that QPR's had that one, Brian, where it was nearly a chance, and Gregory could have held it.
Yes, Rangers are still making these odd little attacks that suggest that they might get in there and do something a bit dangerous. But at the moment it's Price for Tottenham. Everything now compressed inside Rangers' half of the field. Crooks. Houghton. Hoddle. And now Galvin. And Hoddle trying to find Crooks. He found him all right, but Crooks couldn't control it. And the game developing into a very interesting one the longer it goes on, with Rangers holding on, and you wonder whether the underdogs will in fact find that arrow to pierce the hearts of Tottenham. But there's always a suggestion that Tottenham's extra skill might just win the day. It's a beautiful balance. Hoddle winning it in the air. Back to Roda again. Fine game. Steinroth, the touch for Curry. Back again for Simon Steinroth. Waddock. Trying to curl that for Gillard, who won't relish the thought that he's got to go back there and retrieve it. They want to keep the momentum going forward, and back they go again, though. All the way back to Hutler. Flanagan. Hoddle. Getting that swift look up. And notice that Tony Curry is right back there, deeply involved, deep in the defence, showing no signs of that very sore Achilles that has kept him out for a number of weeks until he came back for a first-team game last Saturday. Here's Terry Fenwick. That's an interesting ball there by Fenwick in for Flanagan, and over the top. Nice little ball played in there by Terry Fenwick.
It was a beautiful ball. It was a beautiful ball from Curry initially, and then another good one. Flanagan should have done better than that. He was shooting off balance, bad angle. Two of his colleagues were running into the far post, and they were a little bit annoyed. He should have done better than that.
Perman. Archibald. Perryman. Crooks. Beaten that time, Hoddle by Waddock. And Flanagan again. Steinroth. Went through the challenge for Curry. Scooped a nice pass out there for the substitute Gary Micklewhite, who's on for Clive Allen. And suddenly here's Waddock bursting on the scene, but not with a shot that's going to cause any sleepless nights for Ray Clements. dropped into a bit of a trough at the moment, the game, hasn't it? It wants something now to get it on the move again.
It wants more goal-mouth thrills, obviously, and in any game, Brian, it needs a goal to lift the game. Curry's dropped a little bit deeper, and I don't think Roberts is in the game as much. I think they're both, you know, settling at the moment and just being extra careful.
Rhoda, Curry, Hazel, now Gillard, Flanagan, Micklewhite, Hoddle taking it off Micklewhite, finding Garth Brooks. Hazard's up ahead of him. Here he is. Archibald's ahead of him. Here he is. Hazard. All for nothing. Perelman trying to retrieve that situation against Gregory. Does so well. The little cross. Rhoda there for Rangers. Houghton. Waddock. The long ball clear. Stainrod's after it. Clement says, leave it to me.
You can imagine, Brian, the tension out there, and you can imagine the reluctance to take any risk. You know, they've come a long way to, you know, lose this match over a silly mistake. They've been playing since January, the beginning of January. It's a hell of a big day, and nobody wants to commit themselves too much. That's where the element of caution comes in, and it's inevitable it comes in. It's human nature it comes in.
A little bit of shenanigans there between Waddock and Roberts. Waddock offered his hand. I'm not sure that Graham Roberts took it, but he's certainly going to be happy with the free kick.
I think the young man should be delighted he didn't take it. He'd probably kick it off if he holds it out again.
Right, Paul Miller with the free kick for Tottenham. 0-0. Just over a quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Now Price. Gillard reliably behind it once more. Waddock getting in there, just poking it away. A little bit of respite, no more. Houghton trying to make something of it. Here's Hazel. And Curry taking charge once more. Picking up somebody's boot on the way. Or is it a shin guard? Well, that was dangerous. Curry delaying it, and it hits against Archibald, and it's Ian Gillard, in fact. And in the meantime, there's a Rangers player down. Simon Stainrod in trouble, remembering too, of course, that Rangers already got their sub on. Clive Allen talking to Alan Harris there. Well, Clive still a bit upset at being taken off, and Terry Venables on the right of the picture there trying to console him also. Well, the Spurs bench have been through it all. The agony of watching a cup final. In fact, Keith Birkinshaw, only last March they were here in the League Cup final against Liverpool, where they led right to the last, until Ronnie Whelan had his say. Well, Simon Stainrod's all right to go on. Roberts. Hazard. Archibald. Hazard. Stopped by Curry. Here's Flanagan. Gillard. Final that's being seen all around the world. They say something like 400 to 500 million people watching this. Rhoda. Well, it's true, Brian, to say, as you did, that you can understand people's caution when there's so much at stake. If you look at it positively, one act of boldness might win the whole day.
But they're looking for one act of boldness as well as applying caution. All good teams do.
Here's Hazard. And again, refused to lie down and let the Rangers get that one away. Here's Perelman. Hoddle. It's a nice ball played by Hoddle for Archibald. And certainly Archibald and Crooks at this stage of the game haven't looked the Archibald and Crooks of a year ago. Well, QPR a little bit sleepy there, allowing Spurs possession. But here's Tony Curry. Now he's trying to do too much, and he loses it to Hazard. Curry's mistake, can they capitalise on it? No, they can't. And a goal kick it is.
We could do with an orthodox winger, actually, just to get out there and give us a bit of width, because it's certainly all being played in the middle of the park at the moment. People are wary to run 30, 40, 50 yards with the chance of not getting it. An orthodox winger would change the pattern of the game altogether. But unfortunately, neither of these two sides possess one.
The nearest to it really is Tony Galvin, and he seems to be much more withdrawn in a central midfield place. But here's Flanagan trying to make something for QPR. Galvin, at his most positive, going down the left, is the nearest we've got to it, really, isn't he?
He's been extremely quiet, Brian. Extremely quiet.
Well, here's the throw for Queen's Park Rangers. Simon Stainrod will take it. And Hazel's come up from the back. Gregory's in there as well, towards the near post, but that's not going to reach him. But Hazel, rather Stainrod, and then Houghton. Archibald alone up front for Tottenham, but still managed to play it off for Crooks. Hoddle just dinking a nice ball in for Galvin, who's got Hazard outside him. Played in once more, and Archibald couldn't quite get there. Well, a good break out of deep there, and again Hazard had plenty to say about it, and the little cross with Archibald just failing to get to it. Fennick. Gregory. Curry. Long ball there towards Waddock. Now Gillard. Stainrod. Flanagan. Nickel-White. Flanagan tried to play that through. Perriman hooking it away as far as Crooks. Well, Waddock slipped, and away goes Crooks. Here's Hoddle. And played behind Hazard, so Roda starts another of his runs. And Nickel-White fractionally offside. There wasn't a lot in it. It's really a couple of times we've seen Glenn Roda make a big, brave attack from the back. On the first occasion, he was his own worst enemy when he badly timed his pass. On that occasion, he found Nickel-White offside. Galvin to Hazard. Archibald. Again, he doesn't have to look around to know that Hazel's there, but this time he's looking to get the better of Hazel, and seems to have done so until Roda comes in there and makes the clearance for Rangers. Curry. And Fennick's running into a bit of trouble, and Hewitt. Oh, had his feet taken from him by Crooks there. The referee pulling the book out of his pocket. And Garth Crooks goes into the ball.
That, Brian's a pure sign of frustration.
That was the problem. That was probably what caused it in the first place. Fennick's challenge Fennick's challenge on Crooks in the first place, Brian, was the thing that caused the retaliation.
It wasn't too bad a challenge from a full-back. He'd overrun the ball, he'd lost it. He had to get it back. But that's a bit of frustration coming from that young man. It's never good to see forwards do things like that. It's not good to see anybody do it.
That's what offended Garth Crooks.
Yes, but it wasn't too bad, was it? That was the... Might liven him up anyway, or it might liven the game up.
Well, Fennick's okay. Flanagan, Curry, Fennick again. It's hard to see where a goal's coming from at the moment.
It's very compact in there, and there's a lot of bodies around, and as we say, everybody's just boxing for position. Nobody wants to come wide. Back four players having to come forward now. Man, he's a good player in the ball, Rhoda. I should have bought him when I watched him at Orient.
Too late now.
Yeah, I watched him several times at Orient. I should have bought him. I got Kenny Burns instead.
Well, there's another one. And that was the challenge by Roberts. But the referee feeling that there's no need for any word with the Spurs number 7. Steinrod, who's the injured one again.
Would have been interesting, Brian, to just see that tackle again. It was certainly from the back.
Well, let's oblige you.
Thank you. Yeah, not too bad. Good decision once again by the ref. The player went for the ball, got the ball. It was just the impact. He knocked him down.
I don't think he'd say it wasn't too bad.
If he wants to play centre-forward for the rest of his life, or a striker, he's got to be used to that type of thing.
Gary Brook is being warmed up, incidentally, by Spurs. Another youngster, 21 years old. But my word, he's got a dig from midfield.
Does he play reasonably wide?
No, he's a midfielder who likes to come in forward as well. No, he's not a wide man. Well, it looks as though Steinrod yet again has recovered. Rangers have the free kick for the foul by Graham Roberts. Tony Curry will take it. Bob Hazel's gone right in there into that Spurs penalty area. They aimed towards Flanagan but didn't reach him. Hoddle hooks it away. Archibald. Now he's got away past Curry. But he's really on his own, although Hazard is coming up fast, and Roda across there to save the day for Rangers. Hoddle. Curry, the long ball, looking for Micklewhite. Oh, and Micklewhite, for a moment, looked as though he might get the better of Price. He's a compact and tough little character who's a really good competitor. Galvin, Hazard, Houghton. Flanagan off in pursuit, but threw himself at Miller. Perryman coming away with the ball for Tottenham. 0-0 the score, and we have about 17 minutes of normal time remaining. Spurs have played some 15 to 20 more games in the season than Rangers. And the longer it goes on, if legs are going to get tired, you would think that they would be Tottenham legs. But Houghton seems sprightly enough. Micklewhite's after him. Hazard. And Perryman making a good run on the far side. And Gillard was just a little lucky there, but that didn't fall for the Spurs captain. White. It's aimed to Flanagan, whose header finds Gregory. Nickel White again. He's hit that confidently enough towards Waddock, and that came off Perryman. And Waddock really battling away there, beats the Spurs captain, pokes out the little pass for Stainrod, who's got Gillard away down the left, but tried maybe a too clever little chip there, and it fell straight for Hoddle, who's got it back again here. And that's a ball by Hoddle for Archibald, but again, Hazel is there at the expense of a corner. Spurs haven't looked at their best, it's true, but it's also true that this fella here, Bob Hazel, along with Glenn Roeder, have been in the most magnificent form at the centre of the Rangers defence. It's going to be Hoddle with the corner, and again Price is up, and Roberts is in there too. Galvin is poised on this side of the penalty area to make his run. Miller's in there, and Crooks tried to get up, but it was Curry who got it away. You wanted to say something, Brian?
Yes, I was just going to say that Tottenham just lacked that wee bit of sharpness up front, certainly with Archibald. Crooks hasn't done too badly, actually, but Archibald certainly looks, half a yard short of what he normally is. He's not one of my favourite players, as it is, but he hasn't exactly set us alike today. But he's in the box now.
Yes, Archibald, but stopped by Hazel. Curry, finding Flanagan. There's a lot of space over on the left, and there are two Rangers players there. Here's Waddock, who's got Stainrod away outside him now. Flanagan's going that way. Well, it might come from Nickel White, a nice little back header there, which couldn't quite go for Gregory. Inside the last quarter of an hour. And he's feeling the pressure a little bit, Tony Galvin, getting rid of those shin guards. Oh, well, they've been delighted, Queen's Park Rangers, the underdogs, to have stayed in the game as long as this. It'll be desperate, they must think now, if they were to lose it so close to the end. Oh, what a bad ball there by Hazel, straight to Archibald. Now, can Spurs make something of this? They found Crooks. Goal kick. Well, there was a ludicrous lack of concentration there by the big Rangers number 5, Bob Hazel.
What young Crooks did was nearly as bad, in fact, if not worse. That young man is quite entitled to hit the target from there. That was a wild, bad piece of striking a ball. He's entitled to shake his head.
Nickel White, who looks a lively little character since he came on. There's Roberts. Crooks. Now Curry. Still nothing in it, and about 12 minutes remaining of normal time. Then we should get, if it's still like that, after 90 minutes, 2 periods of extra time, each of a quarter of an hour. Has it? And if it's still like that, of course, at the end of that, they all come back again on Thursday. But Roeder may have other ideas. His pass finds Curry. Fennick. Off Galvin, and then off Fennick. Well, you wonder sometimes, it so clearly came off Fennick. Why he was appealing for the throw is beyond me. Hazel. Nickel White, Flanagan, Curry. Hazard, Hoddle. Well, he got the better of Waddock there, and even as Waddock came crashing in on his challenge, still got the ball away beautifully here for Steve Archibald. A fine piece of play by Hoddle again. Would you say he's thoroughly stamped himself on this game though, Brian?
I wouldn't say he's thoroughly stamped himself on the game. He certainly hasn't run it, but he's done enough. And just looking ahead, obviously, to England's game on Tuesday, I just hope Ron, wraps him up in cotton wool, doesn't pick him, gives him a week off. In fact, he wants to send him away with his wife or something for a few days, because there's no way that I can come out and perform again on Tuesday and then be in peak condition for the World Cup. He wants to get him on a week's holiday.
Curry. Hazard.
I know it's impossible, Brian, but I sometimes feel that if we could get our showpiece played at the beginning of the season somewhere, in preference to 22 tired players.
That's going to be a Rangers corner. Lovely ball by Curry, taken on by Flanagan.
This is where QPR actually are the most vulnerable, because Tottenham do break quickly and they break accurately. That's assuming Tottenham are going to get this corner.
So Rangers, with 10 minutes left, their second corner of the game, and the first one was in the very first minute of the game. And 4 Rangers players are poised outside that penalty area, ready to really attack the ball there. Hazel was amongst them, and that certainly put Spurs off for a moment, and the bodies were flying around there. What do you make of that, Brian?
They did it for the first corner, and it's a fair ploy. It's a typical coach's way of thinking. And it isn't.
Oh, here's Archibald now from Crooks' pass. And a marvellous save by Hucker. I think Clive White, the referee, couldn't believe it because he started to look away as though it was a goal kick. Suddenly, Archibald is through, the flag stays down, Hucker comes out, and there was a marvellous save. So, Spurs with the corner. Hazard will take it. The big men are lined up again. And it was Roeder whose head got it away for Rangers. There was a handball by Flanagan. Linesman saw it. Free kick to Spurs.
QPR were not too happy there. They thought Archibald was offside, but it didn't look offside from where I was sitting. And he actually had a good effort on goal. It was a good save.
Galvin and Hucker. All the confidence in the world. Goalkeeper who always wears gloves, whatever the conditions, he always wears gloves. 7 minutes remaining. Waddock playing it on offside. Yes, he was. There wasn't a lot in it, maybe half a yard, but it was enough. Linesman 100% right. Tottenham's free kick. So Graham Roberts with another throw for Tottenham. A good long one it is there. Hucker fisting that one away, in fact. Hazard playing it there for Hoddle. Spotting Houghton coming up. Houghton's ball to Archibald. And Gillard used all his experience there to keep out Archibald, who looked as though he was on the turn and ready for a winning volley. But Archibald couldn't make it. That was a good piece of defence by Gillard. And Rangers badly needed it. But now here's Hazard. Some more defending to do, and a shot that was struck powerfully but a little too high. Goal kick. Well, it's touch and go, and Jim Gregory sitting on the left of Princess Anne as we look at it. The Rangers chairman, he hates to stay in the last few minutes of a tense game, and it's a bit close. Probably shutting his eyes half the time. Archibald. Roberts. Crooks. Hazard. Oh, shot on it. Went another couple of strides, and he might have seen the whites of Hucker's eyes. Good little spell this by Tottenham. Hoddle playing it in for Perryman, and he couldn't quite finish it off. Spurs captain and footballer of the year for a moment looked as though he might be in there with a great chance, and he might indeed have injured Hucker now. Suddenly appearing from nowhere from the back, Steve Perryman. The space was there, Hucker was bravely out, the ball went away. And Peter Hucker, who I seem to remember was pretty badly injured late in the season in a game up at Rotherham as well. Well, he knows that goalkeepers are in the wars, and Steve Perryman's been around long enough to know that defenders have to take a bit of stick too.
Brave goalkeeping it was, Brian, but I would say Hoddle played the best ball of the match. It was an absolute exquisite 20-yarder, just the right pace. Perryman could have brought it down a wee bit better and given himself a bit of time, and he would have scored. But the goalkeeper came out remarkably brave. The three good things.
It's noticeable there that Perryman is saying push forward, push forward. He clearly feels this is a good little spell and wants Spurs to take full advantage of it. I noticed that Keith Birkinshaw's just come off his bench as well, and Spurs might well feel in the last 2 or 3 minutes of normal time that he just got back to the bench again, and whether they are saying, come on, let's shove it forward, let's get as many forward as we can and see if we can clinch it with that extra time. The agony there on the face of Terry Venables, and Alan Harris looking at his watch, and oh, who would be a football manager at moments like this?
I would swap positions with him.
Yeah, but you're used to it over there now. It's Curry. That's an interesting looking ball if Stainwell can get to it, which he can. But he couldn't get it turned back. And the corner given. That didn't look a corner to me, to be honest, but it's been given. Curry will take it, and we're left really with 2 minutes to go. If Rangers can snatch something from this, I don't think Spurs would find a way back. If we look just outside the penalty area where Hazel is there, you can see the 4 players on the left. There they are. They're going to launch themselves now at Tony Curry's corner. To try, they've held up for a moment. And in fact, it's Roeder who's come in to catch it on the volley. Good move there by Terry Venables. The 4 men that you thought were going to launch themselves went early. Curry delayed, Roeder came in, and you have to give credit to Curry that the ball was played very accurately indeed for his captain to get the volley in. So Ray Clements, not had such a lot to do, Ray Clements. Houghton. Houghton. Hazard. And now Hoddle. Hit well, and Hucker. Oh, that caused a flurry or two in his half and a few thousand others. Because Hoddle, when he hits those, they normally stay hit. Powerfully struck. It might have moved a little bit, and he got it at the second attempt. They're already into extra time in the Scottish Cup final with the score 1-1 between Rangers and Aberdeen. And we're only a matter of seconds away from it here. Roda up once more. Fenwick turning it away. Gregory. Stainrod. They've got a few forward. Micklewhite's looking lively. Gillard's coming up from the back. But maybe the momentum has been lost. And this is going to be easy now for Galvin. We're into time added on for stoppages. Galvin for Tottenham. Hoddle. Waddock getting a good challenge in there. Price just leaning back and finding Miller. In turn finding Perryman. Really into time added on. Quite deeply so at the moment. Archibald. Playing it for Hoddle, but it was too close. It wasn't a good ball. It gave Waddock every chance. Well, Flanagan couldn't control it. Hazard finds Houghton. Spurs coming forward in one last rush again before the end of normal time. Crooks looking to make something of it. Galvin's there as well. And so was Curry. So a Tottenham corner. Clive White's looked at his watch. We've played just over a minute of time added on. And it's Bob Hazel who got it away. Price is in there as well. Perryman turning it in once more. Stainrod not really getting it away. Price playing it in once more. He didn't get to Crooks. Here's Flanagan. And now Gillard, can he just plant it forward? And Micklewhite had quickly got into his own half to get onside, but then couldn't get the ball. Showed a good footballing brain there in point of fact.
It was a good picture to see Perryman and Gillard going for it in the last 30 seconds of a cup final.
Two of the oldest fellas on the field, and clearly then two of the fittest. Well, we've played nearly 2 minutes of time added on now. Archibald playing it on. Roda surely won't let him get away. Back safely to goalkeeper Peter Hucker. Come on, says Clive White, get rid of it. Roberts. Miller. Now Curry. Free kick to Rangers. Well, he's certainly given us a full ration of stoppage time.
I'm not sure if he's keen on extra time, though.
I think there may be one or two out there aren't either. Hazel playing it in for Stainrod. And Clements down. Whether that would have gone just inside the post or not, I don't know, but it was a deceptive sort of shot there from Stainrod. Took a slight deflection there, that would have just crept in. The final whistle has gone, or at least the whistle for the end of 90 minutes, which means that we're going to be into extra time, 15 minutes each way. The men come on with the flasks of coffee and tea, and the managers come on as well. Now, Terry Venables. Getting his men around him. Keith Perkins has already done that. He's had to do this before, as he did last year against Manchester City. Well, here we go. 15 minutes each way, with the FA Cup still at stake. Flanagan. And now Roda. become a very grey late afternoon here now, and a little bit chilly as well. The players won't mind about that. Goal kick.
Brian, that's the last thing any team wants to do going into extra time. What young Hazel's just done there, bump it 50 yards, and give it away, get his forwards to be running 20 yards without getting the ball, and so on and so on.
Steinrod having got the better of a mistake by Miller. Micklewhite's in there as well. Gregory plays it here for Flanagan. Spurs in a bit of a turnate there, but not nearly as much as Mike Flanagan.
That was tightness, Brian.
And there was certainly a lack of concentration deep in that Spurs defence that set the whole thing up in the first place. And I think maybe we shall have an extra time where we shall see more and more of these mistakes cropping up in the game. Clements with the goal kick for Spurs. Curry. Very purposeful start here by QPR. Curry's long ball, playing that long one, trying to get Flanagan away. Well, we saw Terry Venables making those signs during that little stoppage there, wanting Curry to hit long balls over the defence, and that's just what he tried to do there. It's Perryman now for Tottenham with Archibald. Perryman again. Roberts. Houghton coming in quickly on the run, but he's played that too close to the keeper. Micklewhite, Waddock. Howell. Perryman. It's a ball in a bit of space for Hazard. Into a bit of space. He's onside, Archibald. This could be the moment. No, it's not.
Oh, I'm not sure if he was onside, Brian.
Well, I'll tell you something else. It's noticeable that Curry and Gregory both went straight to the referee and said there's no way he could have been onside. Can't tell from that angle, to be honest with you.
Once again, if onside or not onside, his finishing was extremely poor, you know. He was entitled to hit the target. Believe it or believe it not, I've had a season of centre forwards not being able to hit the target at all, so I know what I'm talking about.
Flanagan with the cross, and a deep one towards Steinrod. And now Galvin to take it away. Also, you know, the linesmen today are in fact referees, aren't they? As opposed to being, I know that people in the business say that being a linesman is in fact a very specialist job. And
I would be inclined to agree as well.
And referees aren't used to giving that sort of offside decision. They would have done way back when they were still qualifying. But it may be quite a while since either of these linesmen have actually run the line. That's a throw to Tottenham. Nearly 5 minutes of the first period of extra time gone. Hoddle, Hazard. And Gillard away, but only Micklewhite up. Well, but he still made his presence felt. Houghton. Galvin. Made to Crooks. A little lucky maybe to get that through to Roberts. But it got through to him nonetheless, with Crooks taking it again. Appeals for a penalty from all the Spurs fans, but the referee quite rightly didn't want to know.
Good tackle. The defender went for the ball and got it beautifully. Young Crooks didn't even go down.
Hazel. Rhoda. Gregory. And Curry to Fennick. Waddock. Well, he wasn't too happy with people not making themselves available. Fearsome sight. Bob Hazel when he's roused. But here's Stainrod. That's a Rangers ball. Stainrod. Free kick given. Stainrod, the unfortunate man who's been brought down again. It was a clumsy one, that, but it didn't look all that bad to me. But
well, I don't think Perryman fouled him.
I think you're right.
I think he's complaining that he got whacked on the head, possibly when he went down, because he certainly didn't foul the head. He goes for the ball, and you can see it very clearly.
It's Perryman coming in there. But a free kick given. Now, Gregory, Hazel, and Fennick on the far side. Flanagan's kick. They're all lining up there. It was Crooks, in fact, I think, who got the header, and Hoddle, who needs a bit of skill to get it away. Well, he put it to safety.
If you're going to have a ball drop to anybody in the box, Brian, you might as well have it dropped to Hoddle.
Curry with the throw. Oh, Hazel's on the far side there. It's played in once more and off. Well, off the Spurs player who didn't really know where it was. Both Hazel and Fennick were suddenly up on the far post. And Spurs looked a little weary and a little disorganised just for a moment. And Stainrod's going across to take another corner. So the men are ready to launch themselves again, as you saw there, and there they go. And Spurs were waiting. Hoddle, Archibald, Crooks, and Galvin's made a good break. Now, has he got the control? Has he got the speed? Well, he found Houghton, a little unorthodox, but found him nonetheless. And now Hoddle, but he's stopped by Rhoda. Gregory. Stainrod for White. Curry. Stainrod. Look at White doing well. No foul. It was a dive, said the referee.
I don't think there's any need for referees to do that, you know, Brian. You know, he hasn't given a corner, he didn't give a free kick. I don't think referees should be telling crowds or anybody else that the players have taken dives, whether they've taken them or not. That's his opinion. He's given a decision, he should get on with it. It's crept into our game with referees.
It's Price for Tottenham. Trying to release Archibald, but the bounce will take the ball to Hucker, who was quickly out, spotting the danger. From Scotland, the news that Gordon Strachan has now put Aberdeen 3-1 into the lead. Now can Flanagan get in there? Miller just holding him off. Perryman. Hazard. Hazel just stretching out though with a back heel. He knew that Gillard was there. Oh, that fell to Flanagan from Galvin. Perryman in there. The fight is fiercest. Finding Crooks. In turn, finding Archibald. The flag's up. And it'll be a free kick. So it's still 0-0, and it's Tony Curry.
Offside, not right. It was nice to see it go in the net.
Substitute, Gary Micklewhite. Cross coming in to Flanagan. And in fact, played back by Roberts. A few drops of rain out there, which probably won't have a lot of effect at the moment. Houghton getting around a very tired Simon Stainrod, who's been really in the wars, and Houghton looks full of running still until he comes up against Tony Curry, who took a knock. Waddock trying to get it away, and a deliberate handball by Steve Perryman, and the referee is feeling for the book. And he's right. I mean, he's a great pro, Steve Perryman, but you can't argue that that was a deliberate handball, and it prevented Rangers getting away down that left. So Rangers with a free kick. About 3 minutes to go to the end of the first period of extra time. And still not a goal in sight. Fenwick's come up on the far side. Hazel this time has stayed back. It's aimed towards Terry Fenwick, but he didn't get his header in. Gregory, who's a good player, who's had a fairly quiet game. Hazel now, turning it in once more towards Stainrod. He got up well there. Here comes Galvin. Spurs are shortly going to substitute Mike Hazard for Gary Brook, and offside. Mike Hazard's coming off. That was, in fact, one of the most controversial decisions of all in the League Cup final when they took off Mike Hazard, Spurs. And Liverpool went on and won, and many observers felt that that was a mistake. Well, Hazard's coming off again, and Gary Brook is coming on. Brian?
He wasn't keen on going off, I'll tell you that. He saw the 5, but he ignored it for 10, 15, 20 seconds. I'd have been tempted to leave him on, and I'd have brought Calvin off.
Well, he's in good goal-scoring form, Gary Brook, with 4 in the last 6 games. And he'll bring some fresh legs and a fresh mind to midfield. Challenging Gary Waddock there, challenging Tony Curry there. Coming back for Tony Curry again and getting possession. And there he goes. The crowd love that. Now, has he got a pass, though? No, not one that was good enough, and Gillard gets it back. Only 21. Roeder, the long ball forward towards Micklewhite. We're in the last minute now of the first period of extra time. And after a really entertaining first half to the game, first 45 minutes, it seems to have fallen away a good deal. Still 0-0, Perryman coming forward now. And Waddock and Curry between them getting it away. A game really that has been sustained as much by a feeling of can QPR hold on as much as anything else. As the whistle goes for the end of the first period of extra time, now the trainers really shouldn't be allowed on Although I noticed that Rangers have a physio on to look at Terry Fenwick. Should turn straight round and go on. I've got the feeling that our attendance will be required here again on Thursday night, Brian.
Well, it certainly looks like it at the moment. Tottenham have had, you know, with better finishing, several quarter-half chances. They've only not been turned into very good chances because of inferior finishing. But they failed to put any of them away at all. And, you know, like all football matches, they could pay the penalty. Clements is running into his goal as though, you know, he's as old as me, because he's been injured all afternoon. That's another one that Greenwood won't be able to call on Tuesday night.
So, the last 15 minutes of the 1982 FA Cup final, on this day at any rate, with the score 0-0. Tony Curry playing it back. Glenn Roeder caught a little bit possibly in two minds. He wanted to get it back to Peter Hucker. He really has played well. Fenwick. Now, can it be settled in this last period of extra time? Gillard, the ball on for Flanagan. And Miller comfortably back to his keeper, Ray Clements. Archibald. Hoddle. Oh, that's a nice bit of play by Hoddle. He fooled Waddock there. Can he find a good cross? He'd spotted that Galvin was in a bit of space on this side. And a corner. Brook. If they let him get near goal, he really does strike them. But Curry refused to let him get near it. Salutes the applause. Nicolai almost physically pulled down there by Roberts. Stainrod. Houghton. Galvin on his way. He showed a fair bit of fitness there. He got the better of Fenwick, and he's got one or two up there. Crooks is closely in line. Archibald's in there as well. Brook wants a bit of the action. Hoddle's got a bit of the action and has found some for Perryman as well. Nothing doing, says the referee, and Hazel winkles it away. What? And an offside surely against Flanagan, yes. Galvin. Houghton. Brook. He does strike them. Oh. Well, Hucker was equal to it again. Great strike there by Gary Brook. Just creeping in under that crossbar, and a great fist away by Hucker. Hits a good ball, Brian.
Yeah, it was a good move when Keith brought him on, actually. He's added a little bit of impetus. Can't get it out. To Tottenham.
Here comes the corner. A deep one. Miller coming up on the far side. And it was Waddock in the end who got it away.
He struck that ball beautifully, as you said, but he did give the goalkeeper a long time to see it.
Now it's Stainrod. Now it'll come for Spurs again through Graham Roberts. Spurs are Coming forward again, Hollow! So Hollow has got the vital goal, squeezing it. In fact, there was a deflection, I think, off Tony Curry. Here we go again. Roberts making the break, a fairly leisurely pace. Hoddle's shot deflected marginally by Curry, giving Hucker no chance. And Spurs, the holders, go into a one-goal lead. Waddock is injured. Hoddle is relieved. And there are 10 minutes of extra time remaining, and he's got a bit of cramp as well, if you could lip read. But his captain said, well, keep it going for 10 minutes and we'll be all right. So can QPR pull it back now? Rhoda. Well, they were in for 4 trophies a couple of months ago. One by one, they slipped away until this became the last one that Spurs could win. And now they are a matter of 9 minutes away from winning it. Keith Birkinshaw, the Spurs manager, knows an awful lot can happen in 9 minutes. And Terry Venables hopes a lot will. Flanagan, Gillard. And Archibald, no, I thought he was going to get off him beside and behind Rhoda, but Rhoda was equal to it. Hazel. And now Crooks. And now Hoddle. And Curry right back there.
He's taken up some magnificent position Curry has, Brian, this last 30 minutes. But that ball went through his legs where the goal was scored.
Stainrod trying to get Flanagan on his way, but there's no doubt that Miller wasn't going to let him go too far into that penalty area. Raining quite hard now. So Houghton brings it away for Tottenham. Crooks. Houghton. Will he be allowed to go all the way? And now it'll be just a little bit of a greasy top out there because it's raining quite heavily. The ball will really be skimming along there, and he might even get 1 or 2 more mistakes in the last few minutes. Stainrod finding Flanagan, and the ball just went a yard or so too far ahead of him, and that cross might be too deep, although Stainrod is getting up, and in the end Miller gets it away, only as far as Waddock. There's Waddock shots, and Clements has saved those, man and boy. And there wasn't a problem. 2 Spurs players are down at the moment. Roberts has got himself up, and I think it's Paul Price there. A little seizure, a little bit of cramp. They've carried him a long way this season. Those 11 pairs of legs. Brook, Perryman, and Brook again. 6 minutes remaining now. the Spurs fans are jubilant. In fact, when you look right around the stadium, there are flags flying everywhere. They must outnumber the Rangers fans here almost 2 to 1, I would think. Brook really has made a difference, and he very nearly made a crucial difference then by holding onto the ball too long and giving Rangers possession. Well, they've got a throw, and they have 5 minutes now to make good the damage that's been done. Long throw. Oh, and it's there! And it's Fennick! And it's 1-1! A great leap there by Hazel, and there's the goal. Terry Fennick, only his 6th of the season, and against all the odds, Rangers have got themselves back in it. But what a jump it was in the first place by the big number 5, Bob Hazel. Brian.
Well, they earned that. I'm absolutely delighted for them. I didn't really want any side to lose. And to concede a goal in extra time. It's not over yet, but at least they've scored a goal, and at least they're on level terms again. I'm delighted for QPR.
Brook. Well, a tremendous competitive spirit. You had to think they were out of it when Spurs from the First Division had gone ahead so close to the end. Now, can their concentration hold? Can they get themselves a replay? Here's Galvin. Well, that was dangerously close to a shove in the back there by Tony Curry, and that wasn't a very sensible thing to do inside the penalty area at the tail end of the cup final.
In a league match, that might have been a penalty.
Well, it's their turn to shout, and they've been out-shouted by the Spurs fans most of the afternoon. But it stands at 1-1. Hobble for Tottenham and Fennick for QPR. And a little over 3 minutes left as Brook finds Archibald, and it's back with Hupper.
Glad Hazel had a hand in that goal, Brian, because him and Roder have done as much as anybody for QPR to keep them in this game. And in fact, they're vying for the best man on the field. They've had a remarkably good game, the pair of them.
Fennick, a scorer, the long ball towards Micklewhite, but Graham Roberts is there. Archibald. Miller. Price, the long ball forward. Gillard turning it away. And a little over 2 minutes left now of a cup final that's really come to life in the second period of extra time. Crooks. Perryman's cross. Knocked off, well, as Galvin was thinking about a volley, it was knocked away from there. Now here's Brook again. Hoddle, can he yet retrieve it for Tottenham? No, he can't on this occasion, but Perryman might have a chance to turn it back in again. Played for Roberts. And Roberts getting a good ball in there for Perryman, but there's nobody at the far post to finish it off. Archibald. Some tired feet out there now. Brook. One of the more sprightly ones, the substitute. Roberts. Trying to curl one in there towards Hoddle, and again Hazel just got a touch that mattered. Archibald trying to turn it back. It's a goal kick, and we have 1 minute left.
The Tottenham lads, Brian, can hardly raise a gallop at the moment. Absolutely on their knees. Hoddle's there stretching his hamstrings. He's had cramp for the last quarter of an hour. Tyson's got cramp problems, and so on and so on and so on.
Well, if Rangers are going to capitalise on that, they're going to need to do it quickly. Hucker's out of his goal. Fennick. Curry. I make it about 20 seconds now. Are we going to get one last strike? Hazel. And Terry Venables already standing up, ready to get out on that pitch and say well done. And Keith Birkinshaw standing up alongside him. Manager, shoulder to shoulder with manager. The final whistle, and it goes to a replay here on Thursday night, which is a game also that we should be covering on ITV. Peter Hucker, beaten once, but then had the joy of seeing Terry Fennick cancel that one out with a goal at the other end. Handshakes all around. A quick word from you, Brian.
It was played in good spirit. It was a fair result. QPR battled and battled and battled. Tottenham provided the extra wee bit of class, but didn't capitalise on the half chances that they created. Hoddle scored a magnificent goal. It had to be something like that from him to have broken the deadlock. But I'm glad for QPR that they came back from the dead. I was glad for Hazel that he was instrumental in making the goal as well. Not sure the two managers there, whether they'll be relieved. Terry Venables obviously will be delighted, but Keith will be thinking, blow me, another one, another game. Can I get them, 2 or 3 days' time? Can I get them back on the field with the boots on and the pads? Because they've had a hell of a season.
Yes, Clive Allen limping off. He clearly was injured, and that was why the substitution was made. And
I think it's worth mentioning, Brian, that Tony Curry lasted the pace as good as anybody on the field. To be fair, he's only played half a season and his rest's done him good. But for a 31-year-old, he's leading the QPR lads now. He's had a magnificent game for his age. And he's lasted the extra time as good, if not better than anybody.